The American dream is about as familiar to me as traffic rules are to a goldfish. Which is why, when I first plunged into Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, I barely understood the myth Hunter S. Thompson, the author, was tearing apart. I've seen the film adaptation starring Johnny Depp, and I love it. It's a scathing critique of the corrupted American dream and the fading counterculture of the late 1960s. But the book takes that journey one step further. After reading one too many reviews and watching countless analyses, I finally decided to read what many consider to be one of the best works of American literature. Thompson drags you through a drug fueled dive into the heart of a nation, and by the time you come up gasping for air, you carry a far more unsettling sense of what it meant to be alive in 1960s America. This is the story of a savage journey that exposed the sham of the American dream. Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas is a literary masterpiece, but I was surprised to learn that it all started as a simple sports assignment. It was first published in 1971 as a serialized piece in Rolling Stone magazine. The trip that inspired the novel occurred when Thompson and his attorney traveled to Vegas to cover a motorcycle race for Sports Illustrated. This type of journalism became the backbone of an entirely new genre called gonzo journalism. Thompson not only reported the news, he became the center of it as well. And what began as a straightforward assignment spirals into a chaotic adventure. The plot follows Raoul Duke, Thompson's fictionalized alter ego, and his attorney as they navigate the seedy underbelly of Las Vegas. The narrative unfolds in fragmented, drug-addled episodes as they drive a red Cadillac convertible across the Nevada desert. It is a wild, wild trip to the West that was about to change American literature forever. And it all started with a flippin' race in the Nevada desert. Behind the drug-fueled chaos of Dr. Gonzo lies a real-life mystery far more unsettling than the fiction. In the film, he is the too weird to live, too rare to die sidekick played by Benicio del Toro. But in reality, Oscar Zeta Acosta was a radical Chicano lawyer and a revolutionary voice for the voiceless. Raised in the barriers of East LA, Acosta saw through the peace and love facade of the hippie movement. For him, it wasn't about free love, it was about survival. He was a powerhouse for the East Side 13, defending activists in the courtroom while using hallucinogens to unlock the limits of a mind tasked with changing a broken system. His friendship with Hunter S. Thompson birthed this savage journey to Las Vegas, but the weight of the counterculture eventually took its toll. In 1974, a burnt-out Acosta traveled to Mexico and vanished without a trace, becoming a real-life unsolved mystery legend. Knowing that he would eventually disappear makes the chaos of the story feel even more dreadful. These weren't just characters in a drug story, these were real men living on the absolute edge of the frickin' world. We were somewhere around Basto on the edge of the desert when the drugs began to take hold. This is arguably the most famous opening line in American literature. From that moment, you're trapped inside a hallucinogenic descent. Thompson describes a sky full of what looks like huge bats and a speedometer climbing to 100 miles per hour. Raoul is screaming, "Holy Jesus, what are these goddamn animals?" Then they check into the Flamingo Hotel and go through a series of even more disturbing and absurd encounters. They attend a district attorney's conference, place bets at a racetrack, crash parties, and spiral deeper into paranoia and substance abuse. Along the way, Thompson weaves in his social commentary about the depth of the American counterculture, the failure of the 1960s idealism, and the hollowness of the American dream itself. What happens when the most intoxicated people in Vegas attend a police convention? In Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, this is answered with the utter humor and absurdity. The peak of the irony is when they attend a district attorney's conference on narcotics. They are surrounded by law enforcement while being completely out of their minds. Thompson treats you to a sensory overload of Las Vegas's underbelly vices, the casinos, the drifters, the desperation, the excess. This book doesn't wrap itself in neat conclusions. Instead, it leaves you disoriented, much like its protagonists. And that's the whole point of it. Hunter S. Thompson wasn't just writing about drugs in Fear and Loathing, he was writing an eulogy for a decade. Along the way, he weaves in social commentary about the death of the American counterculture. He captures the failure of the 1960s idealism and the hollowness of the American dream. What makes the plot compelling isn't a traditional story arc with rising action and climax. Rather, it's the ride itself, a darkly comedic portrait of a nation in flux. Thompson was looking for the American dream in the one place he knew it couldn't survive, Las Vegas. He portrays a world where the peace and love movement had finally curdled. The party was over, and Thompson was the only one left to describe the hangover. There are specific moments in Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas where the humor stops and the poetry begins. Thompson's writing is simple yet poignant, and you need to soak in the beauty of his wave speech. He writes, "We had all the momentum. We were riding the crest of a high and beautiful wave. So now, less than 5 years later, you can go up on a steep hill in Las Vegas and look west. And with the right kind of eyes, you can almost see the high water mark, that place where the wave finally broke and rolled back." It is a masterclass in phrasing that captures the exact moment a generation realized they lost. It's a stark indictment of the counterculture's collapse, and I think even decades later, that high water mark still lingers. What makes this autobiographical confession so potent is Thompson's unflinching honesty. He doesn't shy away from the ugliness, the paranoia, or the desperation that defined that era. His hybrid approach to journalism, blending fact with his vivid, often hallucinatory storytelling, made the work instantly iconic. Thompson was openly cynical about the future, but he also had a gift for sharp phrasing and a very dry, dark wit, all of which is quite pronounced in Fear and Loathing. He didn't care about being objective, he cared about being true to the feeling of the moment. That is the essence of Gonzo. It wasn't just about another book about Las Vegas, it was a revelation of the American dream's hollow core. Hunter S. Thompson lived his life exactly like his books, loud, chaotic, and explosive. He died in 2005 and his ashes were blasted from a cannon amid fireworks. They played Spirit in the Sky and Mr. Tambourine Man, honoring his wish for an explosive farewell. Once dismissed as vulgar, Fear and Loathing is now rightly seen as a cult classic. It is prized for its unflinching honesty and immersive chaos. If you want a book that makes you laugh, leaves you disoriented, and lingers like a revelation, give this one a try. It is a raw portrait of 1970s America that refuses to age. Thompson went out with a bang, but his voice is louder today than ever. So, is Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas actually worth a read? Although I was at a loss for where it was all heading at first, I found the book extremely hilarious in the most straight sense of the word. It makes you laugh, it leaves you perplexed, and it stays with you long after the final page. It's a savage journey to the heart of a myth we are all trying to understand. If you liked watching this review, please take a minute to subscribe to Stories in Snips. I'm a small creator and your support means the world to me. Let me know in the comments, have you seen the movie or are you brave enough to read the book? I'll catch you in the next one. Until then, keep searching for the high watermark.